Michigan doing the unthinkable.
Huge potential here.
He gets one, he gets two.
That is beautiful, beautiful front to back right there.
Up 3-1 Eastern. Looking good, feeling good. Life is good. Welcome back to EMU Overwatch on EMU Esports Twitch channel, guys. I'm Glavon. We got Ben back.
What up?
I think we were both gone last week.
We took a bit of a hiatus.
Sorry. I had other plans. I got Ben sick, maybe.
Yeah, the sickness sweeping Michigan has struck your two favorite Overwatch commentators, and but I'm feeling a lot better now. Much better personally.
I'm totally good now. I've got now that I say I'm totally good, I have a slight tickle in my throat. I'm like tiny little cough still.
It's detectable, but it's not serious.
I'll make sure to cough directly into the mic for you guys if I do need to.
100%, yeah.
But we've got some Overwatch to cast today.
Nice.
Some very exciting. There has been a patch recently.
Yep.
I don't remember too much about what was in the patch, but it was not a lot. But there was one really, really annoying buff.
Yeah.
That I am not enjoying. They buffed Hog.
Yeah.
They buffed Hog, guys. Everybody loves Hog meta. So you especially, I'm sure, as a Doomfist player.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
Hog.
I mean, look, this is a character that they don't know what to do with over there at Blizzard, right? He's getting bounced around from rework to original idea. You know, his place feels much more clear in like an off-tank setting, but with the 5v5 Overwatch 2 format where you've just got that one tank, we've got to find a way to make him feel like he can still lead the team into battle and he's not just feeding. You know, there's certain heroes, Roadhog being one of them, have an invisible passive where you actually earn less ult charge for shooting them because of how big they are and how easily farmable they are.
It's not just
all tanks. In that case, all tanks. Yeah, they're going to give you less ult charge, and I mean that's best utilized on Roadhog, of course, because of his ginormous hitbox.
I think it was originally just Roadhog, and then with Overwatch 2, and as they gave every role a passive, they expanded it. Same with Reinhardt's Steadfast, where he got less knockback.
You're right about that. Yeah.
But it means that Hog is just he's a weird character because he's a really big DPS.
For sure.
And he kind of has to invest all of his tools to be able to, or his one tool that he has now, he doesn't even have Trap anymore, they reverted it, to get one kill. And if he doesn't convert on that one tool into one kill, then he doesn't find any value.
It's definitely hard. I think something they're considering when they look at reworks in this hero is, you know, he had that trap for a while, that pigpen ability that was supposed to be a bit of an area denial tool, maybe a bit of a combo piece. And Blizzard have kind of reworked that idea a little bit and kind of made his area control come purely from damage. We've seen these huge damage buffs towards Roadhog, and with that secondary fire back now, there's a pretty reliable way to get that damage dealt to low HP heroes at a distance.
I have got chunked by his right click. His old right click is back. Original Roadhog had a left click that was close range, a right click that was basically just left click, but from 5 meters in front of him. His hook and his breather, obviously. They reworked him. They kind of combined his left and right click into one, so that he could poke, but it was mostly still burst fire. It was kind of mostly left click. They gave him the trap and put breather on like a resource and everything. And so now they've mostly kind of rewound that, and he is has his left click, he's got his right click, his hook, and now Breather is still on a resource, which overall I think is Breather on a resource is a pretty decent change.
Probably necessary in a one-tank format for the guy. You know, you have to consider that a lot of those other things that would be preventing incoming damage from another tank are gone. Yep. So you do need to give a little bit of leeway. Other tanks got this, like Zarya, for instance, being able to have 2 bubble charges rather than just a personal and a bubble for an ally.
Yep.
That's like a little tweak that just changes things a little bit, that just adds to that survivability, which they wanted the tanks to feel powerful. So you're right about that. The resource meters definitely help. But yeah, tell me how about all these things are coming together to create just a really strong hero right now.
So his entire hero fantasy, right? You throw in a hook, you pull a squishy, you blow him up. And that's really, really frustrating if you're the squishy.
Yeah.
Especially back in the olden days of Hook 1.0, you get hooked across 8 dimensions and blah, blah, blah. That's mostly fixed now. Still, yeah, it's Hook. Never feels good to get landed on you.
It's CC.
But it's if he can land that hook and get the one shot, then he gets a lot of value and he's very good. But if he can't get that one shot, and if he leaves you at sometimes even just 1 health, he doesn't get really much value at all. And it's that razor's edge that they've been trying to find a way of being more gradual, because it's similar to Hanzo, where if he does one-shot headshot you, then he gets insane value. If he doesn't, then he gets basically no value.
Right.
That's the issue that was talked about a couple seasons ago. I mean, I can say a couple seasons ago. It's probably like a year ago now, where the entire community was talking about one-shots and how they're not healthy for the game. And Widow had her distance reduced, and I think that was around maybe season 9 when they buffed all of everybody's health. But combine that with Hog's survivability from his breather, and it's just so frustrating to play against, because you feel like there's a joke amongst our community going on. It's that Hog is never actually won. You'll hear the call out, oh, Hog low, Hog won. Hog is never actually low, because he's got the damage reduction from his breather, and it heals him. Yeah. And of course, he's got an Ana and a Kiri bailing him out of anything.
Yeah, of
and
course.
I think he still has the perk that speeds him up during breather. He's up there with Ball.
Yeah, definitely.
Very annoying. But it's not just about Hog. Not just about Hog. Ramatra got buffed.
Nice.
He got a whole 25 armor during his Nemesis form.
I think that is a direct result of what we were saying 2 weeks ago, complaining about the over nerfs.
Oh yeah, it's really huge for Ramatra. It's fixed all the problems with him. Yeah. He's super playable now. He doesn't have like a 40% win rate in GM. Please bring him back. I want him to at least be playable. Like, I'll play him if he's bad, but if he's like
if he's so bad and he just feels terrible,
like
then, there's nothing you can expect. Yeah, 100%.
It's awful. But let's take a look at our schedule and see who we are up against today, who we get to see Eastern do some battle with on the old fields of Overwatch. We've got Ohio University today in Overwatch, and then tomorrow we're going to see Rocket League versus Bowling Green, and then the day after we are back here versus Miami, Ohio. So much Ohio this week. Back in Overwatch, and then next week against Akron in Overwatch again, and then October 1st we are against Ohio in Rocket League again. Be sure to tune into all those streams. Tune into the Overwatch streams extra hard, extra watch them.
Definitely.
It's really, that's what you're here for.
Yeah,
you're watching the Overwatch stream. You want to watch Overwatch. You can watch the Rocket League one. That's okay. You should. It's a good stream. But Overwatch.
I just have to say, it can't be a coincidence that every week the people we play in Overwatch first, we're playing them in Rocket League later. I mean, to check into both you really got to know what the real score is.
You're only watching half the game if you're only watching.
Exactly.
You got to, Overwatch is my game. It's my game. But you got to give it to Rocket League.
There's points being scored over there too.
Yeah. But we are going to move on from our schedule and take a look at our standings. We can see that Ball State is in the lead, followed up by Bowling Green and Kent State, with Ball State being 4-0, Bowling Green and Kent State being 3-1. followed up by Northern Illinois, also tied with 3-1. Ohio is currently 2-0, followed up by Miami 1-1, Akron 1-2, Buffalo 1-3, and then Central 1-3, and then unfortunately we are towards the bottom with 0-3, and Western Michigan is currently 0-4. I still think we can get above that line. We can do it. We can do it.
I definitely think so. I think it's extremely possible. Something that kind of gives me a lot of hope is seeing that there is a lot of diversity in these scores, right? We're not seeing like half the schools dominate and half struggle. We're seeing there's a lot of push and pull, a lot of pullback. I'd be really curious to see which of these, are predictable wins and which of these aren't. But I think this middle section here is where we can really thrive and then maybe even poke a little bit at the big guys who
Absolutely.
are going 3-1 right now. I think it's definitely within our capabilities.
Yeah, I've definitely played and casted tournaments where the entire thing was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
And it was really just doing the work to actually play out the season.
Right.
But you knew that the team that was made up of entirely pro players was going to end up winning. And it would be the same couple schools that were the standings would be so stratified that it was everybody was 4-0 and then everyone else was 0-4.
Yeah.
Just not interesting to watch. Like why are we here? But this, we've got a little more intrigue, a little more interest here. We'll see what ends up happening. Still anybody's game. We are still pretty early in the season here. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this game is just another step on that roadmap, right? We're going to get to see a ton of stuff that we've already been seeing the team work on. Our guys for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. We're seeing great bubble coordination.
Absolutely.
We're seeing DPS making plays, taking control of the battlefield, seeing those opportunities
I'm going to shout out my DPS real quick.
Do it.
Shout out Rage. Rage just hit top 500.
I heard that too. Yeah, right there to GM4. How about that?
Yep, I've been seeing him grind away. So shout out Rage right there. He's second closest from the camera that you can see right now. Big shout out. Highest ranked on the team right now. Expecting some big plays. It's not super easy being the highest ranked player on the team. It's
a lot of responsibility.
Oh yeah, a lot of responsibility.
Definitely, but I think we're going to see the same kind of really, really great performance that we always see out of Rage, where we're going to see a lot of coordination, we're going to see a lot of follow through, and most importantly, we're going to see a lot of aggression. Rage has really kind of built this reputation as being someone who is not afraid to go for that pick. And whether or not it goes through or not, you can believe that disruption and that damage is going to really, really be a pain. It takes a lot of effort from a coordinated team to kind of strike down, on Reaper, on Genji, super deep in the backline. And we're going to see Rage put that effort to the limit and see how much are you really willing to deal with me as we kind of go in and I've got my team ready and we know the play we're about to make.
Absolutely. I know I was previously talking to Rage about, he's come up quite a bit this season. I think a lot of people have this. There's a rank reset, I believe, at the beginning of the season. And so a lot of people, ranks are kind of all over the place. Rage is definitely made well with that. And it means that he is now able to play with players that stretch him a bit more. I know that he was struggling in some of our games and some of our scrims, and he was saying, "I'm not used to playing up to people that can deal with me."
Yeah,
basically,
100%.
His aura is too strong.
Yeah.
And so now that he's kind of got more experience and he's been putting it in the lab, and I know that he and Otzel have been queuing together as well. Getting that experience and playing, I've said it many times, but the big difference between the ranks, once you get up to like high diamond, low masters, and start going up and up, the biggest difference in those ranks is not really like team play or coordination or anything. It's especially on the ladder. It's speed. Definitely. It's speed. Team play and coordination, everything is very important, but it's always comes down to speed. If you're too slow, you just can't keep up.
Yeah, just as important as the plays you're making and the fights that you're having are the speed at which that's happening, right? More fights means more chances for success. More encounters means better chance to snowball and to start taking point and to start getting picks. So
Absolutely.
That's the exact kind of rhythm that we're looking to find where, we want to be able to take that pause, take that space when we're calculating, when we're setting up for a play. We want to have that time, but we earn that time bank by playing quickly, by going off of this really, really let's do it, let's execute play style that we've come to see. We see a lot of swinging into chokes and immediately going for the play, which is what we want to see, right? That refinement and what we're working on, even though, being held sometimes casts doubt. I don't think it should. I think it's a testament to how hard that we're working, especially at the choke point, to break through these moments. And one of these days, it is going to click, and we're going to see that completely pay off and flip things way around.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen our team break through some of these like hard locked choke before. Like going back to Aurora's huge play on Kings Row the other day, like we can do it. We can do it. And I know they've been putting everything in the lab. I know everybody on the team has been very focused on improving. Suji has been doing so much with the team.
Yeah.
I've been seeing them VOD pretty much every scrim. They've been putting in the hours. They really have.
Definitely.
And it's showing already in what they're doing and how they're improving. But it's gonna be really cool.
Yes.
Let's take a look at our map pool and see what we're looking at. Starting out on Samoa.
We've seen this before.
We have seen this before, and that is Samoa out of Samoa, Lijiang Tower, and Ilios. So those are all. I mean, we've had this conversation before. Control is a great
exactly.
Is a great game
we
mode.
dive into it every single time, but at the end of the day, we always come back to these maps being they're staples of Control and they're diverse.
Yeah.
Right. The reason people want to play them is because their play style, more than likely, is going to click right into one of those maps. But you also get to see a lot from your enemy. You get to try out a lot.
Yep.
You get to see a lot of on your opponents on what they want to do. And so that data collection, super important, and I think it's super possible on a map like Samoa.
Absolutely. And Samoa, I have noticed, tends to be very popular with competitive players. It tends to be something that gets played in tournaments, that gets voted for in competitive and high elos. I don't know exactly what it is about Samoa, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't dislike it when it first launched, but I can get behind some Samoa. I like it. I like the. Ladies and gentlemen, we just heard our first bans.
The bans are in.
And that was Reaper and Winston?
Reaper and Winston are gone on Samoa. Now, first thoughts on this are sort of interesting, and it seems like something else has informed a Winston ban. It may not be something that we would traditionally see on Samoa.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. My first instinct is we kind of rely on that Reaper. I know Rage has also got a Genji in him.
Yes.
So I'm not like overly concerned. But we've been playing around that Reaper, and if we've been scouted by the enemy team and they know what we're going to be doing, that might be a very specific ban. We might not see any Reaper this entire game, this entire match, if we're unlucky. And as you know, my favorite character is the Reaper guy.
Tell me why.
He is very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
His special move, honestly, one of the best in the game.
Oh, yeah.
So it comes equipped with these 2 revolvers that only take about 3 or 4 shots to actually execute a Q. So it comes really in handy, especially when you come in from the side.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, all great points.
But the Winston, I'm wondering, are we able to know who banned which side? Okay, I'm imagining that. So enemy team did ban Reaper. We did ban Winston.
Okay.
My guess is that they banned Reaper, and then in response we banned Winston.
That's probably a good theory. That could definitely sharpen things up. We could also be looking to, I don't know if this is how bans work, but is this to avoid another tank ban? Is there a limit to the number of tanks that could be banned? It could
Both
be a play by
one,
us. Just one. Okay.
Get one ban.
Yeah.
In this format, at least.
Sure.
But I'm sure there's a logic and reasoning behind it. What we're probably going to see is probably the Genji.
Yeah.
Winston obviously plays very well into Genji, and a good Winston can just be a monster no matter what map.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely a little bit of a weird one on Samoa.
And Winston's one of those tanks that you really build around, right? You have a backline with a lot of great synergy. Ana being a very traditional pick with Winston, stay super far away, get those heals in, get those anti-nades, get that nano out. So not having the Winston, if this is a very Winston-capable team, to me signals that they're going to have to pivot to something that may not be as comfortable. But we're about to see the lineups here, and looks like we are going to see that that Roadhog that we talked earlier, out of LeBron.
An interesting lineup. We do have our traditional team comp. Rage, you can see starting on the Symmetra just for a TP out of spawn. Probably going to be swapping to the Genji there. Aurora on the Cass, Otzel on the Zarya, Nyx and Rose on the Kiri Lu as we planned. And we are going into a Orisa, a Wuyong, a Brig, a Cassidy, and probably just a Sim for the TP, another Genji. Let's take a look at what happens here. This will be very interesting.
On first look, it's a pretty balanced matchup, I would say. It's really going to come down to, I think it's really going to come down to a lot of the DPS. Especially on a map like this kind of toilet bowl style zone where going onto the point too early is kind of suicide.
Yep. Yeah, we have a specific terminology for that kind of zone in the biz, but I can't quite say it on stream. But the Zarya into the Orisa should be a pretty favorable matchup for us. Unfortunately, Rage is going to go down early to the enemy Brig, and point is going to flip to Ohio.
Really good decision there by LeBron to kind of keep the line and not turn around for that Genji. A lot of trust in your team to get that kind of pick in the back is what's needed for a play like that, so that was definitely a good decision. But we're going to have a lot of opportunities to do the same kind of thing and connect with our backline even sooner.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that Cassidy on the enemy team. We're going to have to rely on our bubbles to make sure that Rage can convert on any sort of aggression that we have. Because if we land, if we have a hinder landed on us, then we're going to have a bad time. And unfortunately, Otzel is going to go down to that Orisa. Just a lot of damage coming out of that Orisa is not a good sign.
Rage dived in looking for the pick. Unfortunately, just a little bit of an awkward distance to pull off the combo. It happens. Not to mention all the stairs and slopes on this map make it really difficult to execute combos like that. But this is what I'm talking about. These plays that we're making, that we know to make them, that we know to go for them. It's just all about the consistency, right? Getting them up, keep trying over and over, and make sure it lands.
Absolutely. And we do see our first ults coming up on the board. We have our own rush mirrored only by the enemy Orisa's Terra Surge. We are looking at both high noons coming up soon, as well as a tidal coming out of the enemy Wuyong coming up now. With Rage going in, getting the bubble, trying to get some cooldowns out. Finds a little bit of value, but no kills.
Gets several people. Half Terra Surge is going to come out from LeBron. Popped a little bit early, and unfortunately, they're going to be able to go ahead and clean up those 1 HP kills. That's like the speed we're talking about, just getting out there with the Terra Surge. But crucially, that's going to be an important ultimate to have offline while we have just built almost all of ours.
Yep, we are going to need to make this a very big fight. They did kind of waste that Wuyong ult, and we have 3 ults, almost 5 on the board. As long as we're able to touch here, it's probably going to need to be a big play from Nyx. We'll see if we're able to touch that high noon coming out, zoning us out.
Gonna get so much zoning value. We're looking for bubbles,
not
but
able to touch.
Yeah, it's so difficult to go ahead and get up there. And this whole round, right, was kind of like a game of it was kind of like a Mexican standoff where everybody has so many ults and so many buttons, but that execution is just so important. Where if you don't get it right one time, you're gonna get collapsed on. So we saw a lot of that stuff come out like dominoes towards the end, but you know, ultimately those fights benefit whoever has the point control.
Absolutely. And what we're seeing is that we're just getting picked early a lot. We're getting some value out of diving in and bubbling our Genji and getting cooldowns out. But that's a rough team to dive, even with a bubble. I mean, that's a Wuyong, that's a Brig, that's an Orisa, a Cassidy, and you're not diving a Genji.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really difficult for Rage to find anybody to really go on. Unless there's some other sort of opportunity made. We do see the ball coming out of the enemy team and going in and immediately slamming 5. And unfortunately, Otzel is going to get taken out
with
early.
The backline, yeah, the ball just making so much space in between everybody is going to be really, really tricky now. This is a tall order. You know, you've got a super high sustained tank like Wrecking Ball who just takes all the damage and can run away faster than anybody else. And then you've got this rock-solid backline with Brig Wuyong, which is just so hard to kill. So much of those little bouts of healing coming up that are preventing things.
Absolutely. And the damage coming out of Wuyong cannot be understated because it is just... It is too much damage. Blizzard, yeah. Blizzard, it is too much damage. Please deal with it. We do not have point control right now. Enemy Ohio does have our point control, but we are trying to rotate here. Are we able to do anything? Following the ball following us and unfortunately zoning us out. not able to rotate properly. And we are just going to get cleaned up here in our own spawn, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're collapsing super hard, and you know, so much of it is, like you just said, difficulty with target selection, right? You've got this whole team that's so tanky, that's so good at keeping people off of them, whether it's by running away, by bashing them, by nading them, whatever. You really look at a team like this, you want to look for your target, and the first thought that comes to mind is Genji. But when Genji is your best case scenario for you know, a really, really easily takeable target, that's going to be tricky based on where this Brig and but we are going in.
And it looks like we're trying to get out that Cassidy, but all we find is Death on Rage, not able to get enough damage on that Cassidy, and getting zoned out by those mines. Trying to rotate and find an angle here, but without our Genji, that's going to be rough. Also, unfortunately, not in range of really anybody to find value with his high charge.
Yeah, and that Wuyang ult on that Genji is just going to seal the deal there. I liked what we were trying. I liked the alternate angle to kind of get out of the way of the line of fire, but unfortunately they had just built up those super strong abilities that are going to kind of, you know, they're really going to bug us in a really tight corridor like that.
Absolutely. It's looking a little rough here. We are going to need to go for a touch here, and it's probably going to need to be Rage's job. I don't know if we can even touch just barely the Grav coming out, but unfortunately the Rally and the Dragon Blade are able to find most of our team. Trying anything we can do just to rotate and flip the point. Living for quite a while. Rage does find the enemy Brig, but Otzel is taken out, quickly followed by Rage. Nyx just trying to delay that point as long as they can. Unfortunately not able to make too much headway.
Almost had the turnover there right towards the end, and it was a really good try. You know, look, they definitely were a team of specialists, and that's going to be really well promoted on modes like Control. You know, yep. Control really thrives on utter domination. And, you know, keeping these things, keeping the pace of the fights under your control. As we can see, Terror Surge coming out here in the play of the game. This was the first ult of the game, and it really what sets the dominoes, right, for something like this that's so close to the end of the point, where now we've got all our resources, but we have such hard decisions to make about when to use them.
Yeah, it's really difficult when we get engaged on first and we get Terror Surge like that. We don't really have anything that we can do about it. We can maybe speed out, but that requires a lot more coordination. We haven't really seen a lot of Orisa recently, so it may be a little uncomfortable to be playing against an Orisa like that. And with the lack of Reaper, that's definitely going to be a sore spot for us.
It's hard, yeah. That was definitely a targeted ban and something that made that a lot easier for them there. But you can see it was clearly a really good read. I mean, you've got Genji right in that secondary position that's trying to fill that role. But there are just some matchups that are different for Genji than for Reaper, right? I'm thinking back to that backline, right? Wuyang, Brig are pretty difficult to kill in general, but as Reaper, you get close enough and you can deal a little bit of damage. You catch them out in the wrong spot, you'll be able to kind of put them away before their natural sustain kicks in. With Genji, that's a lot more difficult, and it's not the player or the map, it's just the situation. Yep. When your cards are taken from you like that, you go for your secondary, and they've got an answer for it. I think it's something that falls much easier to Reaper.
Absolutely. That's a rough backline to dive. Yeah. I mean, a Brig, Wuyang, Cassidy, Genji, Orisa. That's just what you're sending your Genji in there. It doesn't matter if he has 200 health, 400 health, or 1,000 health. If he gets flashed, bashed, whip shot, spun, javelined,
waved,
like, yeah, like, what are you gonna do? Like, he's got to have some kind of follow up, some sort of escape plan, and those are not long cooldowns.
Yeah,
he can dive in and try to get out with bubble, but it's a lot of that theory. You know, you do that a lot on Winston. You dive in, you get cooldowns, you get out. You dive in when they have no cooldowns, and you actually get a kill. Yeah. It's really difficult to do that when their cooldowns are not much longer than yours,
right? And
when they have so many of them, it's a rough matchup. Even just team comp wise,
it's really hard.
You know, I hate playing against Ball. Ball is just not fun to play against.
Delete him.
And you could see we knew what we needed to do, and we were flashing him. But when he hits E and has 1,000 health, it doesn't matter if he's flashed. We just need like more CC to maybe deal with the ball if that's who we want to blow up. Maybe ignoring the ball and just going fast and trying to outspeed him, which is really difficult to do, especially if it's a good ball player, and just blowing up somebody else. Honestly, in that kind of situation, the best dive target, probably Brig.
Yeah.
Even though she is the, anti-dive character, that's kind of her whole shtick. She's probably the easiest one to do it.
She is. I mean, that anti-dive kind of mantra that she has is super important, but it comes a lot from her ability to stop dives on other people's, right?
Yes.
So your Ana gets dove, for instance, being the classic example, and you're better equipped to help prevent that than other things. But it does become slightly more difficult when you are the target, mostly because you can't pack yourself, right?
Yes.
You have to count on Inspire. So I do think you're right. That is a really, really, really good target for us to start with.
And it looks like our bans are going to be Tracer and Zarya this time, going into King's Row. We'll see what happens here. If we don't have Zarya, we've kind of been forcing Otzel into a one-trick situation in scrims for this. We haven't really experimented much with any other tank. I can see a little sneak preview there. It looks like Otzel might be on the Winston. Maybe we're committing to a full dive.
Yeah.
We'll see if that works out. We do have the Reaper this time, but no Zarya. I imagine, I'm not immediately familiar with the rules, but you probably cannot ban the same character map after map.
I think you're right about that. I think that's good. So the good news is we do have Reaper in our pocket for this match like this, but you're right. The Zarya taken away, that is kind of our specialty, right? That's what we're trying to go with, the bread and butter, and it's a big adjustment. Not only is it an adjustment on the front line, but it's an adjustment for the DPS and the supports, who have to expect a little bit less survivability, right? Maybe play a little bit safer. Looks like our secondary choice here is going to be Orisa, which kind of makes sense. A lot of people kind of put them in the same vein just because of their strength immediately on the front line, right?
Yep.
So hopefully the playstyle won't be too different, and we can still kind of connect. I like what I see here damage-wise here. This ranged poke strategy with Pharah Freya is going to be super duper strong.
Absolutely.
Especially against characters like Genji, who are giving us problems last match.
Yeah, this is kind of a wild card here with Rage on the Pharah, Aurora on the Freya, Otzel on the Orisa, Nyx on the Wuyong, and Rose sticking to the Kiri. It'll be a little rough for Rage against that hit scan, but honestly, I have no idea what to expect out of him. I'm kind of glad to see the Wuyong, but I don't know how much practice Nyx has with Wuyong at this time. But I am liking the Orisa Mauga matchup. That should be good for us.
Aurora's finding these, looking for these picks, getting people super, super low, and I believe that we'll find some later in the match. This Mauga defense that we're seeing is super spread out, which might be what they want, but it also leaves opening for our DPS players.
Absolutely. And honestly, we're looking to take some space here. Mauga getting shout out, Aurora getting a pick on the enemy Genji, and that is going to let us start taking space. With Otzel bullying that Mauga off of statue, if we're able to just get enough damage on him, he's going to have to charge back, and we're going to start taking the high ground.
Aurora
this is
in
looking
an
awesome.
Incredible position, sending arrows down. They can barely peek.
Otzel getting a pick on that Ashe.
Hugely important, firmly planting himself on the point now. I mean, the Mauga can run, but really he's got no options. He's going to have to get out. We've taken over the space. We have all the high ground control. Genji's back trying to take on the high ground, but we are going to manage to get a pick from out under their noses. I don't know if they'll be able to touch this.
The Mauga is definitely going to try, but against an Orisa, I don't know if he's going to find a whole lot of success. And the rush coming out, Otzel's going in for it. Maybe we big pick on that enemy Mauga. Are we going to see a Terra Surge come out? No, Otzel, thank you, backing up. Just keeping the point, keeping everybody safe. And that's going to be first point for EMU. I don't know where they pulled this out of.
An amazing amount of control displayed by Otzel there, using the rush to get that crucial pick, but staying back, keeping your cards close, capping the point, and getting started with a 5-person team is a much better choice than getting 3 kills at the end of first point.
Absolutely. I mean, you're a tank player too. You absolutely felt the desire to go in there and hit that Terra Surge.
Yeah.
But good on you for having that restraint. Unfortunately, Rage is going to get picked as well as Aurora. But you know what? You know what we call this? This this is garbage time. The point is mostly moving by itself. They're just pushing into our spawn. If they are too aggressive here, we can spread out and we can actually get some picks here and punish their aggression. We do have 4 ults on the board. Rose is already 50% to another rush, only answered by their Mauga cage and their title.
Mauga's forced to stay up super far here in order to pressure off these Flyers, but eventually he's just going to get forced back, and our Flyers are going to have pretty free range. He is going to go in and go for the cage, though, which we're going to immediately barrage. It's 1-1, but they're down their tank. Oh, Topaz is able to find Rage, unfortunately.
Both of our DPS.
Still alive.
Both of our DPS for the enemy tank, but keeping Otzel up, if we're able to just sustain here, we're back faster. That Moga's got a long, long walk back.
Yeah.
So just stack, stable, slow. You guys know what to do. Keeping this Genji in the corner.
Genji's got no deflect, no dash. Going to be able to be walkable here. We still do have Terror Surge. We could be looking to have our spin up just for a little bit of engage before we look for that, but that's definitely on the menu for this team. Going for the Terror Surge right away.
Big Terror Surge coming out. Is it going to be enough? The Bob comes out of the enemy Ashe and does zone out Otzel, taking out Aurora as well. And it looks like we are probably going to need to reset here. Nyx maybe making it out. Oh, Wu Yang
nice.
is too slippery.
Masterclass right there, getting out of the fight there. Yeah, I mean, I like the Terror Surge play. I think it was a bit readable. People had the opportunity to kind of get out of that, and it didn't split the team quite as well as we had hoped. But we got Bob out, which is a super important teamfight ultimate, and we're really glad that they don't have it coming up, especially on this corner.
Absolutely, and we've already got another Rush coming up, and Rush coming out already. Are we going to find some aggression out of Otzel? We are. The rally coming out of the enemy Brig. Everybody just stabilizing, trading support ults for support ults, and we are going to get some space out of this. We do still have our Wuyong ult. Keep Rose up, keep Rose up. The enemy Mauga stomping on Rose, taking out Aurora as well. Nyx going down shortly after.
Mauga sees 1 HP, Mauga goes 1 HP. Yeah, a lot of stabilization having here from both teams. Everyone really doesn't want that first domino to fall and playing super duper close. And we're seeing that with these very long pre-fights, right?
Absolutely.
With cooldowns being exchanged, but the commit is just so difficult because of these players' positioning. There's always an Ashe or there's always a Freya. But it looks like we do have the barrier from Orisa now, and we'll see if that helps a lot versus this Mauga.
It's going to be a lot of damage coming out of Ohio, so I'm not sure how long that barrier is going to last, so we're going to need to use it pretty aggressively. You know, you usually just set and forget and put it back up when it's down, but we're probably going to have to use it more like a Winston bubble or a Sigma shield to really take space. We do still have our Wuyong ult and our Bola out of Freya. We've got to make sure we're using those ults, otherwise we're just giving up free value. Rose is now 50% to a 3rd rush. And Otzel and Rage both have their ults. The enemy Genji deep in our backline, able to find Nyx, unfortunately. And we are going to have to give up a little bit of space for it. We've got to use those ults, guys. We've got to use them.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the most notorious choke points in the game, right? Very few, I mean, basically only 2 ways to go, one of which is really hard to pull off. It is just a battle of attrition here at the front, staring each other down, seeing who can make the most out of their position. Looks like the Mauga is going to have to charge back and
probably
go back
looking for
in.
a cage here.
Terror Surge is out, though. Bola goes into the cage, but unfortunately...
The enemy Genji finding both of our DPS. The cage coming out is a little bit of a disrespect, unnecessary, maybe a cocky move. Maybe we can punish him for it.
Yeah, a bit early. We do have some time on the clock, and our spawn's right here, so...
Yeah, we do have one more fight here. We've got 3 ults up. Rose is about to hit that 3rd rush, and we've still not used our Wuyong ult. We've got to find some value out of that Nyx. We are entering our next pre-fight, and unfortunately, Aurora is going to get picked by that Freya.
Yeah, it's so difficult coming out of this point now. Something that we had an advantage with attacking first was definitely just the way that the map geometry works, right? Provides a natural cover, sort of this L bend. And now here at this choke point, it's so difficult. We walk straight out into the open, right? There's only so many places to go. Nyx is going to use the ult on themselves to try and push through and get the touch. 9 is just to knock some people down, but it looks like we are going to be stopped under the bridge right there.
And you know what? That is first point for EMU.
Yeah.
You know what we call that? We call that winnable.
Absolutely winnable. Tons of improvement too shown. This is a map we've been working super hard at in scrims, in games. We've had you know, such a, you know, we had a tough time before, even with Zarya, and we got to try something new this time too, and it seemed to really click. I think people kind of got it. It definitely helps, you know, yeah, Zarya into Mauga, maybe sometimes the Zarya player, that's their dream, right? Just somebody you can just click down forever. But Orisa does have that capability, especially with the rate we had those Kitsune rushes out. There was definitely a plan for winning there. There was a route to follow.
And I know that's something that Rose has been working on personally is, you know, especially playing somebody like Baptiste. It's very easy to just hold your ult all game and not find any value out of it, trying to min-max the value too much. But Rose just charging up those rushes and getting them out. We're finding good value out of them, but the rush doesn't last forever. It was typically when those rushes went down is when we would lose those fights.
Yeah.
So really capitalizing, taking that space and setting up another stable position while we have that rush is really important. And as always, not getting picked early. Getting picked early will get even the best teams can't win a 4v5.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, you know, it's a lot of people say that, you know, it is the support's job to heal damage taken, but it's also on the team to not take that much damage, right?
Absolutely.
And make sure that they are behind cover and don't find early picks here. Going for a Widowmaker Mercy combo here, possibly redundant with Widowmaker's damage output, but they are trying to just look for any pick they can get. Fortunately, the pressure is so strong, it's kind of got us back into a corner here.
Yeah, and EMU is already given up high ground control, and we are just getting backed into arches here. Otzel's taking a lot of damage even as they're backing up. If we're able to control high ground against these snipers, then we'll have a good time. But it looks like we're just trying anything we can to just stay alive at this point.
Yeah, Otzel's trying to manage a front, trying to get the team into position, but they just have so much range, so much cover, so much high ground that it's difficult to explode out of this position without dying.
And it looks like the Widow is going to go down to that Widow headshot.
It's going to find that pick. It's so difficult. And there's a second one, thanks to that Mercy damage boost, which just so happened to work.
And unfortunately, it looks like it is going to be a team wipe on EMU. We'll see if we get another fight here. Maybe if we go fast characters, we can get there in time. But I'm expecting Ohio to push up pretty aggressively here, keep that space, and just not let EMU even touch the point. We did get close spawn, though.
We did get close spawn. That is going to be real important. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a difficult choke point for any team. So if we had an opportunity to come back, this is it. Otzel's going to be able to find that pick on Topaz trying to come out.
Absolutely. Definitely a cheeky little pick. Punish that aggression. The Widow sights are up, and the enemy team is trying just to take out Otzel, but finds Rose in the process trying to bail Otzel out. And unfortunately, we are not going to be able to touch, and that is going to be second map for Ohio.
Yeah,
you know, it's looking better. We're shaking things up. We got that first point. They did not expect that. It's just, you know, it's an unpracticed team comp. Once we broke that first hold, getting through that choke, like you said, that's a rough choke to get through.
Definitely.
We just weren't able to properly capitalize on our ultimates. We did have the stronger ult economy for a good portion of that map.
Especially snowballing first point and getting out. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
We had the capability to get through there, but again, it's just, it's so much calculation, right?
Yep.
You don't want to make the wrong play, but sometimes the wrong play is the stalled play. Where things just aren't quite getting out, but it's tricky because you don't want to, you know, donate your resources to the enemy team's fund of when am I going to kill you, you know?
Exactly.
Like that's a scary thought. I know, especially in you know, I played support in this setting, and so something you have with support ults is like, you know, nano boost or sound barrier, right? Like these are fight winning, tempo changing ultimates. It can be super scary to get them wrong. Now that's just from a support point of view, of course. Something like, you know, we see with Freya and Bolas, right? That's basically just another ability, rather than an ultimate.
Pulse bomb.
Yeah, exactly, right. You throw one a minute out, and you know that's just kind of how the game is going to go too. So, you know, I think running into these issues, though, is a good sign because it means some of the initial struggles of not being able to sort of make it past or to get to another phase of the game have subsided, and that's really good. The proof, of course, there being that we couldn't play our main tank. We couldn't have Zarya. We had Orisa, and we still managed to make that work.
Yep, and I do know that Otzel is very comfortable on Orisa.
Yeah.
It's one of his preferred tanks, and it definitely shows. But there's something else that I've noticed about Otzel is he's a very aggressive tank, which I believe me, everybody watching knows that I'm a very aggressive tank. I like the aggression, and it's something that it can get you killed. It's gotten me killed many times.
100%.
It stresses out every support that I play with.
Yep.
So I'll have somebody that plays support, like lower elos and is more chill. Play support for me, and I will get yelled at the entire game that I'm stressing them out. But it's such a fine line of that proper aggression. Too much gets you killed. Not enough, you get stalled forever.
Yeah.
So it's finding that razor's edge where you're as aggressive as possible and you get out on 1 health, and you can properly cycle. And as long as you're getting that aggression in and you're taking that space and not getting punished for it, that's good. Something that I've noticed is Otzel is very aggressive and sometimes is overly aggressive. And we haven't really seen that this time because it's something that I know that he's been coached on, something that he's working on, and so we're living. Orisa is also very good about being stable like that.
Famously hard to kill.
Yes. But it may even be an overcorrection.
Yeah.
Because there was some of those fights where I'm thinking to myself, like, come on, we gotta be able to go and get that aggression and take that space and then immediately bail out.
Yeah,
get that space and give it back. And it's just this constant tug of war back and forth. Like especially like during rush fights. Rush fights are critical to be able to take that space, set up on a corner, use your abilities to walk through, because when you're on tank like that, either you're walking or no one's walking. And so we are going to need to look at our next map, and it looks like we were banning Ball and Soj, which I don't mind the Ball ban.
No, definitely good, especially in a map like Rialto. I mean, that's a blacktop, right? The ball can just zim any corridor, any place in the map you've never even seen. He's flying through there, collecting the health pack, ready to slam your team again. Get him out. I think that's definitely a good call.
The Soj ban isn't. It's not too weird. But
no.
We also have not played Soj at all this map. So honestly, the fact that the enemy team has banned Reaper, Zarya, and Soj, they 100% scouted us. They know exactly what we typically run. But Aurora has not been playing Soj the whole time. Aurora's been on that Cassidy, which honestly
100%.
hasn't looked too bad. And we are going to run out on the Queen this time. And see what we can make out of this. It might be a little bit difficult with some of this high ground. Oh, back to the D.Va, actually.
Okay.
So
I like
actually
that
like the D.Va
there.
a lot better.
I mean, I happen to know that a Queen is one of Otzel's free time tanks. You're on late at night, you're in quick play, whatever you want to, run out, have some fun on Queen, definitely. But it definitely seems like the D.Va is just a little bit more economical given the state of the game and especially the map too. You don't want to give up that high ground. Looks like we are going to start on the sim again. Are we looking?
I believe that's just a TP.
Yeah,
and we are running into an enemy hog, and it looks like they've done a little bit of disrespect to us and are role swapping. That was their Ashe last time on the hog here. So you know what? You get cocky, we might be able to make a play on you if we take this to map 4. We'll take a look and see.
We've definitely managed to get some space out in front of the cart here. Mech is going to go down soon just to that extreme damage. Oh, and the hook is going to connect with the boop at the same time and give it that good old 25-meter hook. Those how did that hit me when he gets flung back and pulls you in still.
It's always very frustrating when you get pulled for a good 10 seconds before you actually land in front of the hog's feet. But I think we can do something with it. Obviously, very low heals on the enemy team with just the Lucio Mercy. We'll see if we can make something out of their disrespect.
Hog is looking for the highlight. Going to be able to fly out of that, though. Maybe a bad target for the hook, but now we see him and we know what he's going for.
And we are going to TP onto the high ground and take out that Bastion and the Mercy immediately. as long as we stack and stable, we should be able to convert this into some space.
Rage looking to win the 1v1 versus the Lucio. Probably doesn't need to take it, though. Nice
Big
defense
DM
matrix! Is going to save Rage, who's going to be able to take out the Hog. Nice. That's definitely a place you want your Symmetra to be, close to your Hog, but you don't want her to be dead.
Yes.
You want her to be deleting his health bar, but still alive, and that was exactly the plan. The teleport execute was great to get rid of this Bastion Mercy, and I mean, Bastion Mercy, call it an Overwatch staple if you want to, but it's dismantleable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with Bastion being as large of a hitbox as he is, he takes a lot of damage, and we've got the damage to punish with Cassidy, and D.Va obviously has a large spread, deals more damage to larger targets.
Yeah, speaking of things we got, 4 ults online, we're going to throw down the Sim Wall. Probably a really good idea here, as the Bastion ult's going to come out and not find anybody.
Rose is able to avoid getting Gift, and the Hog gets taken out, but unfortunately the Bastion takes out Rose, and the Lucio takes out our out-of-mech D.Va. And it looks like they are going to pop Blade in a one fight, a little bit unnecessary. We do have our ult economy.
But we will take it.
Pretty good here. 2 ults coming out of Ohio, both their DPS ults, with only one of our DPS ults coming out of EMU.
Lucio on the skies, trying to look for one of those boops. Not going to happen, though, as we teleport past the bridge.
And we are just going to stabilize on high grounds. I like the high grounds. Just keep rotating. This Bastion hiding in the corner, going to go for something cheeky. Hopefully we know that he is there. Able to take out Nyx, but gets punished in the process. Just don't let that res happen.
This is still definitely possible for us. The Genji is going to be able to find Aurora, though, unfortunately.
And it looks like we are going to lose this fight. The Valkyrie coming out of that Mercy, trying to get a cheeky kill. We'll see if that makes the difference on anything. We've got 3 ults on the board still. A Nano D.Va could be a fight winner here. A well-placed Brig rally could shut down that Hog's pull Hog. A lot of things can still happen here in the last 30 seconds.
Any pick to initiate a swing to get that anti-nade on Hog is going to be big, but unfortunately we're just a little bit too split. The Roadhog Ultimate's going to be able to find Rose, which is going to make a final assault here possible, but tricky.
We are going to just barely going to be able to touch. It's probably going to be on Otzel. We just need to make sure we are backing up, stabilizing. We cannot get picked early here. We do not have the luxury of time.
We certainly cannot get booped off the bridge. It looks like everybody's doing a good job of staying aware of that. Just something that you got to learn.
The rally coming in first. Nyx going in deep, able to get something, maybe? Getting the enemy Lucio's beat out. The High Noon finding the enemy Bastion. We are 4v5. As long as we're able to stabilize, that Genji going for our backline. Rose finding the Hog, Rage finding the enemy Mercy. This looks like we might actually convert this into first point.
Yeah, that's going to be so important there. Order of operations was definitely right, and what a High Noon. I mean, they had to run for the hills. They had no choices but to try and survive, and the Bastion, of course, eventually didn't. But it looks like they're going to swap to Doom, maybe not permanently, just to see if they can touch, and they cannot. And they get slept and antied, meaning they'll probably die for it and give us a good chance to make some headway into point 2 here.
And unfortunately, the enemy Doom is going to take out our Brig. Nyx just caught on point there.
Well, that's Doom for you.
Yeah, a lot of aggression.
He should be dead.
We'll see if we can do anything about this Doom. Kind of running on our backline for free right now.
He does have the Thunder Skin.
And we will see if we can stabilize into another fight here. Aurora a little trapped in spawn as their team is entirely on the Mega over there. If that Doomfist wants them, they might just have them.
We've got more options with a choke point like this, right? And being on D.Va is definitely super enabling with all the high ground and stuff. Looks like the configuration artillery is going to try and find a few picks, and it actually is going to work as everybody else manages to collapse. Now, I'm surprised slightly that they've stayed on the Doom here, but maybe I'm actually not because they haven't died yet. Yeah,
their spawn is all the way back at almost third point here, so it would take quite a bit to shuffle around. And you know what you do when you're against a Doomfist is you go wide, you go fast, you don't give him a target to go on. Unfortunately, right now we have a lot of targets for him to go on, and it's going to be difficult if Rose is not able to hit that sleep for us to really punish him.
Now, we do have a sim wall here, which could be a good initiator tool. I mean, is it going to slow down that Doomfist? Probably not, but it's a big help in cutting off key players like Bastion and Lucio from really going hard. And it looks like a teleport onto the high ground here is going to help Ansel take a bit of a position. Genji's going to go in and try and find that Symmetra. So many shurikens land on the head. Rage is just taken out before he even knows what's gone on.
And unfortunately, we are not able to take out the enemy Genji. Rose and Nyx both going down, but trading out the enemy Genji, finally. And
Ansel does manage to find it and has
Doom.
Self-destruct here. The Mercy goes ahead and reses the Genji. Tries to find the kill on Aurora in the back there.
We are still fighting pretty much in our spawn. Is Rage able to take out... Otzel taking out the Genji and the Mercy. As long as we stay alive, we can get some space out of this. We've still got 4 ults on the board. We can convert this. If they stay staggered, if they make that classic mistake of trickling onto point, we can convert this into a lot of distance.
Definitely, and I was worried Rage was in the river there, in the drink, but he's actually going to be okay. Landed on a boat, maybe.
An interesting beat coming out of Ohio. Is it going to be enough to get them off of point? A double, I don't think that was a boop, just a double kill from that Lucio on our Aurora and Nyx. Otzel converting that Genji and also losing our Rose to that Bastion. The nuke coming out and getting canceled on the remake is really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's so difficult that, you know, Doom's just one of those characters that it's so hard to account for their cooldowns and everything when it's just so fast. That cycle is so quick, you know, I think that was a pick that just happened to keep snowballing, happened to keep working. I bet it was a choice originally for the speed that the hero offers, but then when you see that opportunity of, well, you know, so many characters. Or heroes that are individual, you know, that are able to be found. We've got that Genji off to the side where they were just calling those targets and going, and before you knew what happened, they were gone.
Absolutely. Especially if that Genji and the Doom have coordination like they did show that they had. Getting a pick on who we're playing right now is pretty easy. I mean, you think of Cassidy as a Doom counter, and mostly is, but he's also... He misses that nade or uses on a Genji that dives him first. What's he going to do against a Doomfist that dives him? That's taking the 2v1s where you just don't have the resources to split and deal with that many people. It's a difficult thing to do. And we don't really have a lot of other tools to deal with people going that fast.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, mobility is definitely the name of the game in every hero shooter, right? It's something that everybody considers, and you know, because a target standing still is a target that's easy to hit. So it's definitely something to be wary of. It looks like mobility is not going to be the strong suit of what they're running out on. Going to be a Rein, Bastion, Lifeweaver, Zen, Torb. Is this?
We're going to see.
Is this what I think it is? Is this
we're seeing
pirate ship?
This is pirate ship. I did hear that pirate ship saw a little bit of play in OWCS, so taking a little bit of inspiration. Ohio's taking some inspiration out of OWCS to see if they can do anything with it. Trading out the enemy Reinhardt for our flex DPS. Rose going down, but Rage able to find that Bastion as well. Yeah. Unfortunately, losing the duel against the Torb, difficult to do when he's got his overload like that. The double boot out of the enemy Zenyatta on both Nyx and Rage.
It'll catch you off guard, man. That kick is no joke.
Does not feel great.
It hurts. It's like a third ability.
It really is. It's a lot of boop. It knocks your aim around. Hard to deal with if you're not if you keep getting booped around by it, especially into a wall. The TP coming out. Unfortunately, the enemy Torb taking out our Nyx. Not able to convert the kill on the Bastion without getting demacked. And the boot finds a third, unfortunately. And it looks like we do get a little sprayed on stream. We'll see if we're able to make a touch here. Probably get a touch, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find much with just maybe High Noon coming up. Maybe we can stretch it to a bomb. It's going to be rough against their pretty much 5 ults coming up across the board.
And this Bastion over the top slept is going to be really important there. Wow, what a sleep. Okay.
We're able to convert 2 kills. Aurora killing that Lifeweaver as well while we're dealing with the Bastion. And unfortunately, we are just not going to be able to touch that Bash preventing us from getting around the corner.
A great play, a great counter, but with the positioning of where the cart fell, it just wasn't something that we were able to get. I mean, better than the Bastion flanks and gets 3 and you lose, right?
Absolutely.
So definitely stopping that, having the coordination to go on it is going to be really, really important. Play the game. Here's our guy, our balanced hero. Mr. Balance, people are calling him.
Gotta love that one shot. Really a lot of counterplay to it.
For
if you get hooked, you're just cooked. Just cooked, man.
Yeah.
Feels really good to play into. Really, really good. They bumped his headshot modifier from 1.5 to 2. That's where all of his new damage came from. Really cool. Thanks, Blizzard. Can't wait to play into that.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Honestly, a really good effort. We can see the team making progress. We took first point on 2 of our maps.
Definitely, yeah, we did.
And that's better than we've done.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
And honestly, as poorly as some of our previous maps have gone, our previous games have gone, seeing that kind of progress is really good. Like it's very inspiring to see our team, who is coming from playing mostly as JV, punching up at these big guys like this. It's really good, and I know how much work they're putting into it. I know how much they want it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the improvement is all there, right?
We
can 100% see it. Every place where we've been stopped before, the next week we go a little further. And not just in terms of literal map progression, but of just what we're able to do, the things we're able to break. Some of the things that shut us down now are those wild cards that we just don't have experience with, right? So something like King's Row Attack, going double sniper, swinging to high ground super quick and shoving us in that corner. You know, it's rare to get a scrim with something like that, right? Or those kind of systems, it can be difficult to account for, but we're finding these ways that we can get past difficult chokes. We're finding these ways that we can initiate fights on our own terms, and I definitely think the next step, like we've been talking about, and especially you've been mentioning, is abusing that ult economy, right?
Yeah.
We've got supports with great positioning. We've got Rose pumping out healing constantly. We all these examples of building ultimates super fast and then using them fast is that next step, right? Just churning them out, getting as many. I mean, because the reason you don't hold on to an ultimate is because you can't build another one.
Exactly.
Right. So holding on to it, you reduce the number of your most powerful abilities that you're using in a match. And it is tricky. It is easier said than done. It's easy for us to be like, press Q, lol. Yeah. But when you're in there, you want to make sure that has impact. So looking for those moments next is going to be super crucial.
Absolutely. And we were finding a lot of those moments. It's not entirely consistent yet. Like we were seeing Rose throw out those Kitsune rushes, especially on King's Row, just cranking them out. Nick struggled to find a time to really use Wuyong ult, and honestly, I think that's more of a reflection on just the lack of time that Nyx has on Wuyong.
Yeah.
And just Wuyong is a very new character in general, so how much time can you really have on him?
Yeah.
So it's finding those opportunities to use those specific ults, because it's not just about I have the generic ultimate ability.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it at the generic ultimate ability time that has been designated for me.
Yeah.
No, there's a different time to use Kitsune Rush, Rally, Tide, all of these Sound Barrier, all of these different ultimates have different timings, different things to watch out for. So if you don't have all of that internalized and memorized and muscle memory, honestly, you can stumble a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
It's difficult to think it through in the moment, because if you're a new Brig player, you simply don't have the time to go through all of the theory in your head of, okay, the enemy Genji just hit Q. Let me pause the game real quick and think this through. Should I rally now? Should I wait for it? Is there a different ultimate that I want to use it instead of? Do I have somebody else on my team that's going to deal with it? Are we going to beat instead of using rally? All of these things that if we pause the game, slow it down, our team can make those decisions and can find the correct solution.
Yeah.
But when you hear the Genji start speaking Japanese and then you're dead, you don't have time to think.
Yeah.
You have to have it be muscle memory.
It's really hard.
And it's just a factor of time.
Yeah,
Literally
definitely.
just a factor of time. But let's take a look at our next stream schedules. Like we said before, Rocket League tomorrow, and then Overwatch the day after. We'll be back against Miami, Ohio. Rocket League playing Bowling Green tomorrow. And then back again next week against Akron, Ohio in Overwatch, and then a rematch against Ohio University in Rocket League. And I'm excited. I think we'll continue improving. I know how much time they're putting in. I can see it. I see them in scrims.
They're already VOD reviewing. They're going to crush one out. They're doing consistent scrims, consistent work, not only one-on-one, but with the team too. The players are playing with each other, queuing with each other. They know each other well. So all of these things that are fostering this better cooperative environment, we're 100% seeing.
Absolutely.
We're seeing this, and I think it's the expectations that we should have are that of extreme growth, and especially I think we're going to see a lot of potential in more key moments, right? Key moments throughout the game that we take advantage of. Honestly, we're really good at following through on a great pick, right?
Yes.
Moving in, taking space, collecting the angle, taking it off is really good. It's those first moments, but we're finding ways to get through it. Even when curveballs are thrown at us, having to run tanks we don't normally run, all those kind of things, we're finding ways through it, and I just can't wait to see what else we find our way through. And finally, making it pass and really dominating one of these teams.
It's a fantastic journey to watch, and I'm really excited to see it. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be awesome.
But that's going to be it for us tonight. Tune in again tomorrow for Rocket League, and then Thursday we'll be back with more Winston. I can't believe they banned Winston. I think we banned Winston. What? Suji?
We banned Winston.
Don't ban Winston. I'm here to see Winston. I want more Winston. That's what everybody is here for. Winston.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Winston.
Winston.
Winston.